Baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. It is a blistering hot evening here in New York as the Cubs open up a 6-game, 7-day road trip. Cubs and the Mets in a battle of second-place clubs. Great to have you with us for Cubs baseball here on CSN. Jim DeShays, Len Casper. Cubs in second, a game back. Mets in second, 9.5 out. And the Cubs finished a very weird homestand, thankfully with a win yesterday.
Yeah, because tonight they embark on a stretch of games in which they will play 17 out of 20 away from Wrigley Field. So perhaps a little springboard provided by that surge yesterday. 4 runs in the first inning. They hit 4 home runs. Rockies came back and tied it, but late dramatic home runs by Russell and Montero. They go on to win 7-5. Anthony Rizzo had a big homestand. Kyle Schwarber, last 5 games, has been productive in the bullpen. Over the last couple of weeks has been outstanding.
I wouldn't say the first 2 months for the Mets has been a disaster, but they've had all kinds of injuries, off-field controversies, but they're getting healthier, and Yoenis Cespedes back in their lineup gives them some hope.
Yeah, and he's obviously the big difference maker in their batting order. They have plenty of thump in their lineup, but they really rely on Yoenis Cespedes. And take a look at these numbers. Per 162 games as a Met, 43 home runs, 112 driven in, OPS of 912. He's only played 20 games this year, but he's already hit 7 home runs.
Cubs hoping to play much better baseball in the road Grays. They've dropped 8 in a row away from Wrigley Field and their last 6 in this ballpark. But again, yesterday they finally got the bats going, and thankfully early, as Ben Zobrist hit the 3-run homer in the first, and after the Rockies tied it, they kept going deep late. Cubs and Mets should be fun. Next.
CHN Chicago is brought to you in part by Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, who invites you to go further in their fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Menards, save big money at Menards. And Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
It is hot here in the Big Apple. Cubs and the Mets tonight. First of a 3-game series. First of a 6-game season series. Mets will come to Wrigley Field in September. Right-hander Jacob DeGrom has really struggled his last 2 times out. Here's the Cubs Southwest starting lineup he will face. Very similar 1 through 8 to the lineup we saw yesterday, with one difference: Contreras catching for Montero. But he's going to stick with John Jay atop the order for one more night. Bryant, Rizzo, Zobrist, Hayward, Contreras, Baez, and then Addison Russell, who had the game-winning homer yesterday, followed by John Lackey.
Well, let's set the Mets defensively, and a big arm out there in left field with Yoenis Cespedes. Curtis Granderson, the veteran, is in center. Another strong arm in right. That belongs to the former Red Jay Bruce. Veterans on the infield: Reyes, Cabrera, Walker, Duda. Asdrubal Cabrera struggled defensively. He's committed 10 errors this year. Travis d'Arnaud is the catcher for the Mets this evening, and the Lexus starting pitcher is Jacob DeGrom. As Len mentioned, scuffling lately. He's allowed 18 hits, 15 runs combined in his last 2 starts, seeing that ERA jump from 3.23 up to 4.75. He's 4-3, 72 innings of work. He's allowed 74 hits, 30 walks, 94 punch outs. So he's got swing and miss stuff. He's striking men out at a higher rate than he ever has before, and I'd imagine sooner or later that ERA will be back down in the mid to low 3s.
Mike Winters has been a major league umpire since 1988 and has been a crew chief since 2011. Wegner, Ryan Adeton, and Mike Malinsky on the bases. And the leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. If John Jay gets a hit, Binny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. Cornermen pulled in. And DeGrom's first pitch is a fastball, easy gas, 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, long, loose delivery, long-legged guy, 6'4", 6'5", about $180. Really sling it up there. Also slider, curveball, and a change. Only threw 69 pitches in his last outing, so he should be pretty fresh here this evening.
1-2 on Jay, getting his second consecutive start. He went 2 out of 5 in the 7-5 win over the Rockies yesterday. Well, very late swing. He almost pulled that ball right out of d'Arnaud's glove. Still 1-2. 93 degrees as we get started.
The Big Apple was a big sweaty apple today. Hot, humid.
Little check swing bouncer right back to the pitcher. And that's out number 1. That'll bring up Chris Bryant. He hit .212 on the homestand, but he also cranked 3 home runs and took 8 walks. And he is the current All-Star vote getting leader at third base in the National League. Low for ball 1. So 6-4 homestand. And the Cubs are at 500 for the 12th time this season.
Yeah, it's been like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill and just can't quite get over the top. Go on a nice run and then they backslide.
Off the end of the bat and on a bounce made by Walker. So 2 away, and it'll bring up Anthony Rizzo, who is not currently leading. And the all-star balloting at first base, Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals, is ahead of him. We were talking off the air. First base might be the most competitive position in the National League.
Yeah, and it usually is year in and year out. There's so many talented offensive players at that position putting up big numbers. You can make a case for a half a dozen guys at that position in the NL.
1 strike on Rizzo. DeGrom's from Florida, Ormond Beach, just north of Daytona Beach.
Well, you know, he's gone out there a man on a mission here tonight after those 2 rough starts. This is a guy who's 34-25 lifetime with an ERA right at 3. Not used to getting knocked around the way he has in those 2 outings.
Elevation, and Rizzo stays alive. Still 0-2 on him. Just getting started. It's draft night. Minnesota Twins with the #1 pick. They just made that pick. The Cubs will have 2 choices in the first round. Shortstop Royce Lewis, drafted by the Twins. That splits the alley. And Rizzo on his way into second base with a 2-out double. And the Cubs are on the hit board.
Anthony coming off that outstanding homestand, off to a good start here tonight. And there he is with that Carew-like approach. He's a hybrid. He's a big, strong slugger, and he's also a high average guy with a smart approach. Minimizes the legs, chokes up on the bat. And even when he's just trying to line it somewhere, strong enough to drive it all the way to the wall for extra bases.
Well, Ben Zobrist, and he hits a high fly ball into left center. It is Granderson who will lead off the bottom of the first for the Mets. Makes the grab. 2-out double, no runs. From New York, 0-0. Under 500, their Southwest starting lineup. Chicago native Curtis Granderson leads off. Neil Walker. Cespedes came off the DL Saturday and hit a grand slam in Atlanta. Jay Bruce having a nice first full season with the Mets. Duda, who didn't play much last year due to a back issue, off to a good start this season. Cabrera the shortstop, Darno the catcher, Jose Reyes at third, and the pitcher DeGrom can hit, and he swings from the left side.
And here are the Cubs defensively. Ben Zobrist left, John Jay center, Jason Hayward in right. Boy, Joe really likes to look at that middle infield with Russell Short and Baez at second. Bryant's your third baseman. Big Riz is over there at first. Wilson Contreras behind the plate, and the Lexus starting pitcher is John Lackey, 38-year-old right-hander. 4 up, 6 down with a 5.12. Lexus experience amazing. It's been a tough go for John of late. Over his last 5, he's 1-3 with a 6.35 earned run average.
6'6" righty. This is ball 1 on Granderson. Curtis sitting on 299 career home runs, 297 doubles. And will remain that way as he's just out at first. That'll go 3-1. 36, but he can still run.
Yeah, sure can. Very good long career has Granderson. Foot race, and Lackey wins it by not a half, but 3/4 of a step.
Former Pirate Neil Walker, second year with the Mets, acquired prior to last year from Pittsburgh and accepted the Mets qualifying offer as a departing free agent. Here's the 0-1. It's outside. Lackey 180 and 141 in his major league career. 430th career appearance and all but 1 as a starter.
2-0 against the Mets in his career in 5 starts with a 2.14 ERA. No decision against them last year. 6 1/3, 2 runs.
They're not going to go pick by pick in the draft, but I can tell you this: as Walker hits one high in the air and deep, Hayward is back. He's at the wall, and he's got it. He got back there quickly and was able to make the play rather routinely. Little leap in the catch. Not sure that ball would have left the yard. Let's see.
A little late adjustment. Plenty of time because the ball was hit so high.
He would have probably hit the orange part of the padding and stayed in.
The home run ball has been an issue for John. He's allowed long balls in all but 2 of his starts. He's given up 16 in total.
Here's Cespedes, 2 high school players going 1-2. High school shortstop to the Twins and a pitcher to the Reds to start the draft. Here's the grand slam on Saturday as Cespedes made his return from a left hamstring injury that knocked him out of commission in late April. And he rolls one into center. That's a 2-out single.
There's a note in the Mets game notes here tonight that since August 1st of 2015, the Mets play .574 baseball when Cespedes plays, .438 when he doesn't.
Well, that's when he was acquired.
You might say he's the straw that stirs the Mets drink. He's the spoon that stirs their parfait.
They already have a straw here in New York. Maybe a little wooden stick.
Yeah. Jay the Bruce is off to a good start. 16 long balls. He has not enjoyed success against Big John.
Michael Conforto. Cespedes is back in time, dealing with a back issue. Terry Collins now with Cespedes back, trying to juggle his outfield rotation. Probably their best defensive outfielder is Juan Lagares. So they've got 5 guys who he'd like to play. And they definitely didn't want to be without Conforto tonight. The other guy's been red hot this year is Wilmer Flores, and he's on the bench too.
Yeah, Flores putting up great numbers. Conforto came to the big leagues with a lot of hype, performed very well, and then struggled a little bit. Now he's back and looks legit.
3-0 strike, now 3-1. Big Texan.
A couple of Texans here.
And he walked him. He's trying to rally here with 2 outs. We'll bring up Lucas Duda.
That's our 7th in the league in runs scored. They're 4th in home runs. They have dangerous hitters throughout their lineup. Limit the strikeouts. They'll take their walks. Their biggest issue has been their pitching, due to poor performance and certainly to a certain amount due to injury.
That's a little different than the last few years, right? The narrative had been their young starting pitching and their inability to score a lot.
Yeah, it's an older group. Most of the position players, you know, early 30s. They are the fly ballingest hitting team in the National League. Look at their ball and play rates, ground ball rates very low, fly ball rates second only to the Oakland A's in all of Major League Baseball. So the fence is being moved in here the last couple of years. Should benefit this bunch.
Still known as a pitcher's park. And the 0-2, and due to able to hold up. Decent crowd on hand, not a sellout. And I saw a lot of Cubs shirts and jerseys and hats walking around Midtown Manhattan today. And I'd imagine they jumped on the 7 train to head out here to Queens.
That's 2 years ago, of course. Went to the World Series, lost to the Royals. Last year they got beat in the wild card game, so they've had a good club last couple of seasons. They're drawing just a little over 30,000 per. And it's a big ballpark. There's a lot of empty seats here.
Two on, 2 down. And a 1-2 count on Duda. Here it is. High fly. Another one deep. Hayward on the track again. This time he doesn't have to leap. So the fly ballingest team in the league hit a couple of deep ones for outs, and we're scoreless after 1. Chicago is presented by State Farm. Jason Hayward making sure he's got enough room, so reaching his glove back. See where the wall might be, and also the verbal, I got it, to tell John Jay, don't worry about it.
worry about it.
Popped him up. Reyes. Reyes and Cabrera. Did the "I got it, you take it," and nobody got it.
Reyes, of course, a long time as shortstop, but he's played a fair number of games here at third base. See, he's calling it. Cabrera comes in behind it. He calls it as well, and that's one where somebody's just got to take charge. And if you have to climb over the other guy to make the play, do it. And credit Hayward for not giving up on the play, getting himself to second base.
The little Alphonse and Gaston routine. Error charge to Cabrera.
I wonder how you decide who to give the error to on that play. Give them each a half.
Well, it looked like Reyes was camped under it, but then he drifted at the last possible second. So let's see if the Cubs can take advantage. 0-1 on Contreras.
Turn that dial up a little bit. He was well behind that first heater.
He pops it up. And the Bronx cheer will reach Queens as he makes a nice play reaching into the stands, and one hop throw over to Reyes. So Walker made sure he stayed out of Duda's way this time on the right side.
See that? You mess up one pop up and the fans just get all over you. And you see Reyes circling and Cabrera trying to wave and call, but there's a lot of noise in the ballpark. Both guys are calling.
There's Baez with one out. Russell on deck, pitcher batting ninth tonight. Fouled away. And it might be even a little hotter tomorrow night. 93 at game time this evening.
Might be a record for the state here in New York. I'm leaning heavily on that fastball here in the early going, and it's awfully firm. He likes to work up in the zone with it.
DeGrom played the left side of the infield in college at Stetson, and he once homered off Chris Sale. Duda racing over and no play. DeGrom did not pitch regularly until his junior year. And he was drafted after that in the 9th round by the Mets.
2014 National League Rookie of the Year. He was an All-Star the following season.
Lots of strikes, 19 pitches. He's only missed twice. And he gets Baez on a half swing. That's his first strikeout. 2 away, and it'll bring up Russell.
On Monday, June 19th, the Cubs take on the Padres. First pitch, 7:05, and up to the first 20,000 early arriving fans will receive a Cubs reusable tote bag presented by MLB Network. For more information, visit Cubs.com. How about that? Terry Collins going to issue an intentional walk in the second inning.
It will be John Lackey with 2 men on.
As a pitcher, that would drive me nuts. this stage of the game.
I noticed DeGrom was kind of staring into his dugout after he struck out Baez, so I think he caught wind that they were going to walk Russell.
It's like, you got to be kidding me. I want that pitcher leading off the next inning.
Lackey swings late.
A little anger behind that. A little extra hair on that heater.
He dealt with a lot of injuries, as we mentioned. He had the Matt Harvey suspension for violating team rules. Mr. Met got fired for flipping the bird to a fan. Although we had a long conversation in the booth before the game. Mr. Met only has 4 fingers, so if he had a good lawyer, he would have said he does not possess a middle finger. Swing and a miss.
Jackie Child.
So DeGrom channels that anger and strikes out the pitcher. Limited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Aaron Judge leading in all the Triple Crown categories in the American League. 21 home runs, including 2 in a blowout win over the Orioles yesterday. And that included the longest home run hit this season. StatCast is powered by AWS. 495 feet.
This is a man-child.
Longest of the StatCast era. Over the bleachers in center. The Yankees are in Anaheim tonight. So scoreless tie, bottom 2. Here's Cabrera. 31-year-old switch hitting shortstop fouls away.
Pretty dependable power source. Middle of the infield guy.
Second year with the Mets, hit 23 homers last year.
A couple all-star teams with Cleveland 2011 and 12. Battled some knee issues last season.
Thumb injury put him on the DL this year in May. He's back and waits on a 1-1, and it's a breaking ball high. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, it's a much shorter list to list who's not been injured for the Mets over the last couple of years, as opposed to those that have spent time on the DL.
That one cranked deep right, and this time Hayward will not have room. It's a home run. And it's 1-0 Mets. His 5th.
Talked about this team being a predominantly fly ball hitting team. Cabrera is actually one exception. He's got the highest ground ball rate of anybody on their team, but he does have power, as we mentioned, in the home run ball. Thanks, John Lackey. Again, they flirted with a couple in the first. This time, no flirtation. Just a long ball off the bat of dribble Cabrera. That's the Ford home run replay, and that's a 1-0 lead for the Metropolitans.
Now the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. And he fouls on the screen. Well, 7 home runs, tied for the second most among National League catchers.
Ooh. It's a good pitch.
Low and away. DL time for d'Arnaud in May with a right wrist injury. Slowly hit grounder to Russell. He's got time. That's the first out. Now Jose Reyes came up as a shortstop with the Mets. Recently recorded his 2,000th major league hit. Another guy on the DL, and nobody knows if his career will continue, is David Wright after neck surgery.
He has not played much baseball the last couple of seasons.
Jay not very deep in center, moving a bit to his left, and he's got it.
I hear some bluebirds.
Yeah, he just went through a long over. Saw his batting average below 200. DeGrom comes in at 320. Career 203 with the 5 doubles and just under 200 plate appearances. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it for the Mets. Leadoff homer Cabrera, and New York leads 1-0 after 2. Is the official healthcare partner of the Chicago Cubs. We're for the comeback. We're for the win. We're for tomorrow. Tomorrow starts today at advocatehealth.com. Len and JD with you from New York. Mets lead 1-0. Second time through the order for Jacob DeGrom. 1-2 lifetime against the Cubs with a 5.31 ERA. Mets have pitched really well here as of late. They're starters with an 0.83 over their last 5.
Yeah, 5 starts between DeGrom's last one when he really scuffled.
Yeah, they're going with a temporary 6-man rotation. First pitch strike.
Wheeler and Harvey, who we will see in this series. Robert DeSelman, Steven Matz, and Seth Lugo, who was really good yesterday for them.
Ground ball to Walker. Easy play, 1 out.
Mets have used 11 different starting pitchers already this year. I guess the biggest news is that they've only gotten 5 starts out of Noah Syndergaard, and he's not likely back until August probably. Torn or strained lat.
That was another controversy. That he basically refused to have an MRI, made his next start, and then had to leave early. Bryant bounces to third. Tough play, Reyes. He'll barehand, he'll throw, and safe is Bryant on a very close play. For now, it's an infield hit.
So bench coach Dick Scott on the phone to the video chief. And safe enough, I would say. I don't think they're going to challenge. Great break out of the box by Bryant. Tremendous effort by Reyes. KB now 1 out of 2. Oh, that's a good look at it.
And a good call by Mark Wegner. 1 out base runner. Now Rizzo. He doubled to left center his first time up. Takes ball 1 outside. I have some information. The memorial service for Jimmy Pearsall will be Friday, June 23rd, 10 in the morning at Wheaton Bible Church in West Chicago. The public is invited. So that's Friday, June 23rd, 10 a.m. Wheaton Bible Church, West Chicago. See if Rizzo gets something to his liking here. Ahead in the count. He did not, even though it was a strike.
That's a dandy of a 2-0 pitch. Changeup running to the outside corner at the knees.
Nothing Mets, third inning. Long pause by DeGrom. Now the pitch. It's wide. 3-1.
So it's been away with one soft one. Let's see if maybe feel like they've got him leaning or looking away. Try to jam him here. There's this quick in there. A major league lineup, and not all lineups are the same, obviously, but it's kind of like your class schedule in school. You got some blow-off classes, and you got some classes where you really got to do a lot of homework, and these middle of the order guys, they make you work.
Bryant took off on that 3-2. See if Chris is running again. And he is. It's low, ball 4. So 4 plate appearances, 3 reaches combined for Bryant and Rizzo. And now it's Zobrist.
Anthony's so locked in, hardly ever swinging and missing of late, not striking out, taking his walks. It just presents such a problem for an opposing pitcher. Like, where do I go with this guy? If I challenge him, he's going to ambush me. If I go deep, he's not going to change his approach in terms of, you know, he'll start flailing away. He doesn't do that.
He plays Zobrist fairly straight up, slightly to pull in the outfield, but no drastic shift on him anywhere. Usually first and second will mitigate any of that anyway.
Yeah, I wonder if they would do a little more in a different situation, because he is a pull hitter. Holds the ball on the ground to the right side a lot.
Cubs came in leading the majors in walks. They've taken 2 tonight, 1 of the unintentional variety. 1-1 on Ben. Well, with this hot weather, a couple of veteran guys, Joe might give a day here in this series. Zobrist and Hayward. He wants to get Happ and Schwarber back in there probably tomorrow night. Cubs have an off day coming up on Thursday before the weekend series in Pittsburgh. That hit home plate and kicks foul.
Understandable that Joe would stick essentially with the same lineup today as yesterday, other than the catching position with the game they played yesterday.
Infield single, then the walk with 1 out. And a 1-2, and Zobrist with a 2-strike, just stay alive swing. Wasn't pretty, but just intended to spoil it.
Well, you know, I think with 2 strikes, he's probably looking away, or you know, you got to cover the off-speed pitch. You got to be aware of that off-speed pitch, so that 96 up and in gets on you in a hurry. So it's just a late emergency hack to try to get something done, and if you can get a piece, you live to fight another day.
Walker charges. They get 1. They'll get 2. That'll go 4 to 6 to 3, and it's 1-0 Mets.
Don't miss your chance to catch a game at beautiful Wrigley Field. Tickets are still available for next week's short 3-game homestand with the San Diego Padres. Plan now to get the seats you want at Cubs.com. In for 3, then right back out for a long road trip. So take advantage of that 3-game set with the Fighting Friars.
Curtis Granderson grounded out in the first inning. Curve is in for a strike.
Typically patient hitter, usually takes that first offering. Got off to a horrible start and been much better over the last couple of weeks.
He began his career as a center fielder, mostly right field the last few years, but back to center mostly so far this season. He's 4th with the Mets. Last year he hit 30 home runs. Important stretches for these two teams. For the Mets, this begins a stretch of 14 consecutive games against postseason teams from last year. And for the Cubs, a lot of games on the road. And they've dropped their last 8 straight away from Chicago. Slider got away from John. That's a leadoff walk. So let's take a look ahead at what the Cubs are facing. Pittsburgh this weekend. Remember, the Padres swept the Cubs in San Diego on the last trip. 4 at Miami. And then our first look at this year's version of the Washington Nationals.
It's been a very impressive group. They're putting up huge numbers. Currently have a 9.5 game lead in the NL East.
Average lead by Granderson. Walker lines and a base hit. So they've got 2 on with nobody out, and here comes Cespedes.
Walker, switch hitter, has always been better from this side, especially in the power department. All 8 of his home runs this year have come as a left-handed batter. This time content just to dump a line drive in front of Zobrist left, setting the table for Cespedes.
4 major league teams, and Cespedes has done his best work wearing a Mets uniform. And he bounces one to Bryant. They'll get 1. They'll get 2. Huge double play.
Yeah, that was huge. And Cespedes nursing this hamstring injury that had him on the DL, so I'm sure they've told him to be careful pushing it down the first baseline. He wasn't really selling out, trying to ease him back into action, and that really helped the Cubs' cause as they go around the horn to get 2.
Runner at third, 2 outs, and fouled away by Bruce.
Anderson taking a huge lead down the third baseline with Bryant way off the bag.
Bruce acquired from the Reds August 1st of last year. I don't have the exact quote, but earlier this season, I loved what he said. The narrative, you knew if he struggled when he got to New York, would be, well, he can't handle the big stage, because he had been playing in Cincinnati, and his point was it has nothing to do with it. I was just bad.
Yeah, it's not like he was tearing it up in Cincinnati and then struggled here.
That's going to give the Mets a 3-0 lead. That left the yard. I didn't think he hit it high enough to get it out. And Lackey and Granderson having words?
No, Mike Winters.
Mike Winters, okay. 2-run homer for Bruce, and John Lackey, and not happy about a call or two earlier, and a couple of words for the home plate umpire.
A walk home run for Bruce here today. A fastball out away where he could get extended, and well, he speaks to his strength on that trajectory to hit the ball that far. You got to be awfully strong. You see Lackey just as hot as can be.
Well, that would have been an RBI double with the old configuration. They removed the fences in on, I believe, 3 different occasions. So just in the very corners near the poles are the dimensions essentially what they were when they opened this ballpark.
Cubs came in here last year and were swept in a 4-game series. They scored a bunch of runs in those ball games.
Grounded foul.
Memory serves me right. At least 2, possibly 3 of the Cubs starting pitchers in that series had their worst outing of the year.
Yeah, that was in that bad stretch right before the break. Cubs were outscored in that 4-game sweep, 32-11. I feel like the home run ball has been a big part of the story for the Cubs lately. When they hit them, they win. When the other team does, they lose. And that normally is the case, but it seems like it's happened a lot here lately. That, you know, the Cubs yesterday out-homered the Rockies 4-0. They were out-homered 2-0 the day before. Lackey covering. Duda is out. And tonight they've been out blasted 2-0 and trail where it counts 3-0. Spectacular collision of comedy, theater, rock concert, and dance party all rolled into one. Catch our boys in blue at the Briar Street Theater. Call 800-BLUE-MAN or visit blueman.com. The other boys in blue trailing 3-0. Hayward, Contreras, and Baez against Jacob DeGrom, coming off a couple of really rough starts. Mets have allowed 1 run in each of their last 3 games going into tonight.
First 10 starts, he was 4-1 with a 3.23, and you see the damage that he gave up over the last 2. So I guess seeing that, you just assumed he would come out and pitch well here tonight.
Hold foul by Hayward.
Did not make it beyond 4 innings in either of those last 2 outings. 15 runs total, 4 home runs, 6 walks.
Missed the outside corner. A couple of inches. 1-2. A 100 games to go, including tonight. So a lot of season left, but as Joe Madden indicated before the game, and I think he's absolutely right. Basically, this is a 500 team right now. They've essentially earned their record. And you would certainly expect the offense to be a lot better than it's been. That ball hit second base, would have gotten into center anyway. Leadoff hit for Hayward.
Yeah, Cubs have scored 2 more runs than they've given up. It's a 500 club. Brown falls off a little bit to the first base side, so not really in great position to field this comebacker. Bag was well positioned.
The Brewers are off tonight. The Cubs starting play this evening, 1 out in the Central Division. As Joe said, geography has been in the Cubs' favor so far, meaning their particular division. Maybe 7, 8, 9 games out of the Providence Cubs or the Santa Barbara Cubs.
He's going to go with Santa Fe. Santa Fe needs a club. Their uniforms will be turquoise.
And the mascot would be a screaming yellow parakeet.
Or an adobe hut with legs.
Is it screaming or screeching?
Well, I would accept either. I've always said screaming, but screeching.
1-2 on Contreras. I know what you would do. You'd hire Mr. Met. Give him a second chance.
Who knows? It's quite possible that Mr. Met has a second chance. Who we know is underneath that big round baseball head. Could be Wally Backman for all we know.
Well, if that's the case, might get in trouble again. Two balls, 2 strikes. DeGrom holds the ball and a little too long as Contreras asked for and was given time.
Here's kind of a fun factoid. Terry Collins has now managed more games than any other manager in Met history. Been here since 2011. He is 3rd all-time in the all-time wins list behind Davey Johnson and Bobby Valentine.
On one hop, Walker, Cabrera, doodle. Second double play turn in the last 2 innings for the Mets.
They got one to end the 3rd, and Time they go 4-6-3 again, and not an easy play. Funky hop for Walker, and the throw tosses a little bit low there to Cabrera. Good footwork around the bag as he makes the adjustment to get the out there and then continue on to first.
So TC is 68. I believe he's the oldest manager in baseball, correct? Dusty is 67.
Is that right? Yeah.
Turns 68.
But it seems like for almost his entire tenure here, there's been a certain amount of, well, he's kind of teetering on the edge, or he's on the hot seat. To his credit, he's hung in there. He brought him to the World Series. He signed that contract extension, was it a couple of years ago? I guess it was during the 15 season through this year, and there seemed to be this notion that was going to be the end of the line for Terry, but I was asking some people about it tonight, and they said, no, that's not the case. It's not a given.
Very quotable, very fiery. Admits that he's calmed down a lot from his previous stint back in the late 90s with the Angels. I think the fans here appreciate his honesty. There was a story that came out that he had basically been given a gag order on injuries, and with all this stuff swirling around this team, but I don't think you can really give him a gag order.
Oh yeah, it's not going to last very long.
You know, I guess the one similarity is Baez takes a 2-out walk, which I get. DeGrom asking Winters where the call was. Here you go back to Mark Pryor, Kerry Wood, dealing with a lot of injuries. When young pitchers who kind of are supposed to carry your club, when they keep dealing with injuries and you put time frames on when they might be back, you can get into some trouble because it's a mercurial thing. You can say 4 to 6 weeks, and it might end up being 3 to 4 months. And the media asks managers and general managers to be honest, and then when they are, and then they come back later and they keep peppering them with questions about why what they were told 3 weeks ago isn't necessarily true. I can understand why an organization would get a little skittish about it.
Yeah.
I think that's happened here a little bit.
By the way, that's another unintentional walk for Hobby. He's on a roll here.
Shot foul by Russell.
Been an interesting career for Terry Collins. He managed the Astros. That was his first gig back in '94. He did that for 3 years, then moved on to Anaheim for 3, and then he didn't manage in the big leagues again until 2011. So from 1999 to 2010, he did not work as a major league manager. He worked in Japan for a couple of seasons.
I think he did a little work for the Cubs as well.
Yeah, he was back doing some development work with the Dodgers, maybe. But in terms of being in the corner of the dugout, that's an interesting career. 99 to 2011.
He was a Cubs advanced scout in 2000. Farm director for the Angels. Managed in Japan briefly, and then came back here. And the rest is history. Called strike 3. Cubs have had base runners in every inning. They just haven't scored yet.
0-0. The Cubs are introducing game-changing new premier experiences at Wrigley Field, featuring seats with prime views and access to an exclusive club and first-class amenities. These new premier experiences will allow fans to enjoy Cubs baseball at America's most majestic ballpark in a whole new way. Visit CubsPremier.com to join the Premier Client Priority List.
Mets batting with a 3-0 lead. Bottom of the fourth from Citi Field. Cabrera led off the second with a home run, and he drives another one deep. And gone. 2-homer night for Asdrubal Cabrera.
We talk a lot about Lackey's aggressiveness and how he's at or near the top in terms of first pitch strikes thrown.
And now he's going at it with Mike Winters again.
Now, I'm not sure why. And it may be that, John just perhaps venting after the home run, and after the early exchange, maybe Winters thought it was directed at him. It happens when you develop a little bit of a contentious relationship with an umpire on any given night. Anytime you make a little noise, he assumes you're yelling at him, and I can't imagine John was giving it to Winters, because that's the first pitch of the inning, and that's a fourth home run replay. Third time the Mets have gone deep tonight.
Sixth 2-homer game for Cabrera.
That's 19 allowed by John now. Mentioned earlier that over his last 5, he had a 6.35 ERA. And that coming on the heels of one of the best starts we've seen him have. At Dandy, he pitched in Colorado, 7 shutout innings at Coors Field, a ball game in which he punched out 10.
Lefty Brian Dunsing up in the Cubs bullpen.
Be in this park when it first opened, you could kind of live middle away, let the guys hit the ball. It's a big part of the yard out there towards straightaway center, and for the most part it was going to stay in the ballpark. Shorten the dimensions. It's a hot night. The ball's going to jump.
I think all 3 of these home runs would have stayed in the yard originally.
But
we're not playing in 2009.
Yeah, that's not trying to make excuses. Just the nature of the game in this park has changed a little bit. It's still a pretty good place to pitch, but too many mistakes in the heart of the strike zone for John, and that's been part of the story all year long for him.
Base hit to center. Reyes. Foul tip, strike 1. Nationals lead the Braves, now trail the Braves. That's been a wild game. Bottom of the third, 6-4 Atlanta from DC. Pirates out on top, 4-0 over the Rockies. Jameson Taillon's returned from cancer treatment. Top of the fourth in that one.
Kyle Freeland, a fine young rookie for the Rockies, giving it up tonight.
Rizzo, Russell, Rizzo, double play.
play brought to you by the letter R. Rizzo combining to get Reyes.
DeGrom pops up on the first pitch. It'll be Russell. So no communication issue on the left side for the Cubs. But the Mets have homered 3 times tonight and lead 4-0.
We head to the 5th. Check out the variety of luxury premier options that Wrigley Field has to offer for your next client, corporate, or family function, like an all-inclusive suite experience located on the Nuveen Suite level. Visit Cubs.com/premier for an option that fits your needs.
Between innings, Terry Collins and I believe one of their athletic trainers jogged out to check on Cespedes. Not sure if he jogged out to his position awkwardly. And coming back from the hamstring injury. Maybe he was running to first on the double play. And he talked his way into remaining in.
Came back Saturday. He pinch hit yesterday. The plan is to play tonight, tomorrow, and then have Wednesday off. Just want to ease him back into action.
0-2 on Lackey. And a base hit into right.
Maybe. Yeah, he's good. Bruce was thinking about it. It's like the dream scenario for a right fielder. Throw somebody out at first on a would-be base hit.
Used to happen with more regularity on artificial turf. On a bounce, knocked down Walker. 4-6-3 again. The third one they've turned in 3 innings. They're getting enough practice, I think, at that play.
Well, and that really helps DeGrom on a hot night, too. 2 outs on 1 pitch. Good job by Walker hanging in there, knocking that ball down with enough pace on that ball. He knows. Keeps it in front and gets to it quickly enough. They're still going to get their double play.
Soon Duda kept his foot on the bag. In the stretch. No challenge. There's Bryant with 2 outs and nobody on. Yeah, that has kept his pitch count down, just over 60 on the night. I don't know about you. I always get a little leery of facing a guy of DeGrom's caliber after a couple of stinkers.
Right. There's some guys you see they've had a couple bad ones, and you just assume, okay, this guy's not particularly good, or he's in a rut. We're going to get him. A guy like DeGrom, after a couple bad ones, you kind of have to assume he's going to go out there and pitch a very competitive ball game. Unless you got some reports that he's a little nicked up and the velocity's down, but that wasn't the case.
I was reading somewhere about the Mets. They said of all the scenarios, the one that was not considered is DeGrom healthy and not effective. And he's been effective tonight.
Probably not.
2-2. A lot better lately.
Last year the Cubs were first in ERA. Mets were third. This year the Cubs are 6th. Mets are 12th. Cubs starters 9th. And the Mets 11th. The work to be done by both staffs.
Swing and a miss. To the bottom of the 5th, Mets 4, Cubs nothing.
All of our viewers watching on Reynolds Cable in Reynolds, Illinois.
Already 4-0 Mets lead. Granderson leadoff walk and a run in the 3rd inning. Takes a curve up and away.
Find a way to shut the Mets down here and start to chip away a little bit. The Mets bullpen has not been particularly effective. Their closer is Addison Reed, the former White Sox. He's been good. He's worked 2 days in a row, though, so Terry Collins may be looking to stay away from him tonight.
2 slider in the dirt.
It's a challenge for a manager about this time of the year. You know, early in the season, first few weeks, it's very easy to have the mentality of, well, we're in this for the long haul. We're going to rest guys. We're going to not push our bullpen too much. Try to limit innings for our starters. But you get to that point where that thinking starts to flip a little bit, and you start to play with a little more urgency, and maybe you're asking your relief ace to work 3 days in a row. Things of that nature.
Rizzo unassisted. Yeah, you're Terry Collins. You're going. We're 5 games under 500. 9.5 out in the division, way back in the wild card, and I can't think big picture all year. I think for Joe yesterday, right, using Carl Edwards Jr. in the 5th, and then Koji Uehara for 2 innings. There was a little more sense of urgency to try to end a 4-game losing streak. Certain days you pick your spots, and you'll occasionally see a manager on the last day of a series trying to avoid a sweep, have his closer go more than an inning. It's like pulling the goalie with 4 minutes to go instead of 2.
Yeah, and it's a little bit counterintuitive because, you know, the mindset in baseball is it's an everyday grind and it's all about today's game. But you know, when you've lost 4 or 5 in a row, it's like you got a chance to close one out. Thinking changes a little bit.
(3-0) on Walker, who fly deep to the warning track and right in the 1st, and then singled to left in the 3rd. Don't know when they'll have the parade in Pittsburgh for the Penguins winning the Stanley Cup, but we'll be there in a few days. Fly ball the other way. Zobrist drifting to his right. 2 outs. I should have asked Ben during the final. He lives in Nashville. He was sneaking a peek at the Predators and their bid that came up a little short. Surprised they didn't ask Juliana to sing the anthem. She'd have been great.
Yeah.
I also wonder early on here if in the late innings with a lead, Terry Collins will get Cespedes out of the game to protect that hamstring. And I mentioned Juan Lagares, terrific defensive outfielder.
Yeah, I suspect that will be the case.
John Jay makes the grab, so Cespedes lines out. Mets go down 1-2-3. That's the first time tonight. Our Cubs insider on CSNChicago.com. Presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich, serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Well, as we were just commenting, Terry Collins deciding after the Cespedes plate appearance to make the move. So Lagares is in center. Granderson goes to left. Rizzo, Zobrist, Hayward here in the 6th. One on Anthony.
A double would be good. Take that double play out of the picture.
Interleague play at Fenway. Phillies lead the Red Sox 4-3, top of the 4th. In that one, Eichhoff and Porcello, the starters in that one.
Back for something there and completely misfired. 38 times in DeGrom's first 88 starts he's allowed 1 run or fewer. Well, that would be none. 1 or none. 38 of 88. Trailing only Dwight Gooden in that department.
So Rizzo on all 3 times, a double and 2 walks. Well, the Mets keep hitting the ball over the fence in right center, and the Cubs keep hitting ground balls to second with a runner at first. Try to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, the Mets strategy is more effective.
Here's the pitch. Oh no. Are you kidding? Even Neil Walker can't believe it. 2 out, 6th inning.
I don't know what the record is for 4-6-3 double plays in a ball game, but we got to be getting close. 4 of them. Zobrist hit that ball sharply, and that actually made it that much easier for the Mets. Pretty routine double play.
Here's Hayward.
The thing about it is DeGrom is not an extreme ground ball pitcher. He's not a sinker baller, a guy you worry about bouncing into the double play all that often against.
He's only got 3 strikeouts. If he had missed a few more bats, maybe the Cubs wouldn't be hitting into these double plays. The old adage of if you think you're going to hit into a double play, strike out. One and 1 to Hayward. Here it is. Ground ball, Walker.
Busy man.
At least it wasn't a 4-6-3. It was a 4-3. And he's cruising along through 6th.
The 2017 All-Star Game. Vote early, vote often, vote now at Cubs.com/vote. You can vote 5 times a day and up to 35 times total.
Changes now for the Cubs. Kyle Schwarber comes in and plays left. He'll hit ninth. Zobrist goes from left to right. Hayward made the final out of the top of the 6th. He's out of the game, and Brian Dunsing replaces John Lackey on the mound.
23rd appearance for the veteran left-hander. No wins, no losses. A .338 earned run average. John Lackey, 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 3 home runs.
Jay Bruce takes outside for a ball. 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. That made it 3-0. He walked in the 1st. He's got 5 homers and 10 knocked in over his last 8 games. He's in the option year of a long-term contract he signed with the Reds back in December of 2010.
Potentially have a lot of money coming off the books at the end of this season.
Yeah, they've got free agents all over the place. Fly ball to right. Zobrist will have to watch that ball actually bounce out of play. That'll be a double. It hit the warning track and then the wall above the orange line. So that's 2 for Jay Bruce.
Ben was fooled by that ball. See it here. Talked about Bruce's strength earlier. By the time Ben realizes that ball's carrying over his head, it's too late.
So a leadoff double. Now Duda.
Duda, Walker, Bruce, Granderson. Reed, their closer, all could be free agents at the end of the year.
Got a club option on Cabrera after this season.
Reyes as well. His contract is up. They're not paying. I think they're paying him the minimum, and the Rockies are picking up the rest of it. He's making $22 million. 16 games. Bullpen has been pretty stout. Uehara and Edwards likely not available tonight. In case you're wondering, the record for grounding into a double play in a ball game is 7. The Giants grounded into 7 double plays in the Astrodome back in 1969.
Three and 1 on the Mets first baseman. Another Mets first baseman just returned from the DL up in the broadcast booth tonight. Keith Hernandez coming back from it. Did he have his knee replaced or just surgery?
I know he had surgery. I don't know the extent of it.
He is along with Ron Darling and Gary Cohen.
He asked you to help him move. Say no.
Call. Strike 3. Time now for the Giga Time moment. It is powered by Xfinity, and Cabrera has shown the power. Left-handed twice off the righty Lackey. And both times to the pull side. And he'll now hit right-handed against the lefty Dunsing. Looking for his first career 3-homer performance.
Of his 4 home runs prior to tonight, one of them came as a right-handed batter.
You could hear Rizzo yelling, "I got it," on the field microphone. But Cabrera retired for the first time. Now d'Arnaud.
You, sir, are no Scooter Gennett.
Travis d'Arnaud has surpassed his home run and RBI totals from last year. He hit 4 homers, knocked in 15 in 75 games. Elias reports since 1920, when the RBI became an official stat, he is the first player to exceed his RBI total from the previous year by April 30th of the next season. That's a minimum of 275 plate appearances. Wild pitch allows Bruce to advance to third. One and 0, and d'Arnaud. Brother of big league infielder Chase d'Arnaud. Saw him with the Padres, right? Chase d'Arnaud.
Yeah, because he had been somewhere else, right?
Yeah, he's played with the Braves, the Red Sox, and the Padres this season.
Power hit 12 home runs and 239 at bats in 2015, 13 home runs the year before, and 385 at bats. Rare small D battery of DeGrom and d'Arnaud. Get it in there. Swing at that, pop it up.
First and third for Reyes. Kick and the pitch. Curve at 73 for a strike. Lance McCullers Jr. goes to the DL. The Astros having trouble keeping their starters healthy.
Yeah, the top 2 guys now on the DL, Keuchel and now McCullers. And a 12-game cushion over the Angels in the American League West.
McCullers, Keuchel, Morton on the DL. Colin McHugh is on the 60-day DL. In the air to left. Schwarber just into the game. They'll make the grab. 2 to 7. It's the Mets 4 and the Cubs nothing. Price of one, whatever you want to call it, it has really killed the Cubs' chances.
Double toil and trouble. You're going to Belmont this week. You might bet the 4-6-3 trifecta. Nothing more frustrating. You get a guy on base trying to get a little something going, down 4, and yeah, DeGrom just amazed at his good luck here tonight. I mean, just good luck. He's been awfully good, but the play ball certainly been his friend.
Nice play, Reyes, and a perfect throw to get Contreras.
Contreras, the former shortstop, made a heck of a play on Bryant earlier. It was an infield hit. This time ranging to his left. A spectacular play. Look how accurate that throw is. Drifting across the infield. Off the wrong foot, on the money. They had the miscue on the pop-up, but when it's been on the ground, it's been flashing the leather.
The rhythm of this game better change quickly, or DeGrom might go the distance. Low pitch count. In the hole. Cabrera. Safe. Baez with an infield hit. Is he all right? A little stretch there, and now Terry Collins is going to challenge it. Late in the game, he hasn't used one. Why not?
That's exactly the thinking.
Out. He might be out. And of course, he might be out, but I think they're going to reverse it.
Case of Baez lunging for the bag as opposed to running through the base. Might have been the difference. It's just the natural instinct for when you're racing to first base to beat the throw, but that kind of lean back lunge, I think, actually cost you just a little bit.
By the way, can you tell just by that picture who's working home plate on a 93-degree night?
Coming into this ball game, DeGrom had induced 5 double play balls all year. 4 tonight.
2 excellent defensive plays on the left side of the infield, and the Mets doing everything right tonight. Well, the glass half full analysis of that reversal.
Yeah.
Can't hit into a 4-6-3 now here in the 7th.
Yeah, it's gone all the Mets' way here tonight, but the Cubs are a bloop and a blast away from cutting this lead in half. Kyle Schwarber, capable of the blast, is on deck. And we talked about the smaller dimensions here from when this park first opened, and the ball carrying well on a hot night like tonight. The wind too looks like the favorable wind out towards right.
All right, we don't want to see the 69 flag anyway. Here's the 3-0. It is a strike. I would say he feathered that one in at 92. That's a pretty good fastball for a lot of starters.
It's like using an iron off the tee.
Deep right. Bruce back. That ball gone. An opposite field homer for Russell, and the Cubs are on the board.
There you go. Get it in the air.
Second in as many days. Yesterday's was a game winner. And they're within 3.
He's said it over and over again this year with Addy. When he's thinking middle and away, good things happen. Doesn't pull off, stays on it. Here's your Ford home run replay. It's number 5 for Addison.
Well, he and Schwarber went back to back yesterday as Kyle fouls out of play. He just came in to play left. All the runs tonight for both clubs coming via the homer. First career pinch hit home run for Schwarber yesterday.
Dylan Lyles went to the well too many times with that fastball down and in. That ball was bruised.
This one not so much. Lagares has it. Stretch time from New York. Russell with a home run, but it's still Mets leading, and it's 4-1. Podcast inside the Cubs draft room. Director of amateur scouting Matt Dorey and insider Patrick Mooney explore how the organization can help supplement the young hitters and add pitching prospects, plus a look back at how previous first rounders are doing. Subscribe today. 5 of those drafted by the Cubs. The last 5 first round Cub picks are on this active roster. DeGrom batting in the 7th. That's almost always a very good sign for a starting pitcher. 1 strike on him. And infield pop up. Baez makes the catch.
Yeah, and you mentioned all the first round picks that the Cubs have on their current club, and people might think, well, shouldn't they be big leaguers? They were first round picks. They were high ceiling guys. And that to a certain extent is true, but the draft is littered with all kinds of swings and misses. It's an inexact science. I think baseball as an industry has gotten a lot better in recent years, being able to project. But to have that kind of success at the top of the draft so early, really impressive.
Granderson began the night in center. He's now in left.
Happy anniversary to Billy Williams. On this date in 1975, that he hit career home run number 400. Would finish with 426.
Yeah. Sweet swinging Billy Williams. On a bounce, Baez, and it gets past Rizzo. Good effort. Base hit for Granderson.
Fans being treated to some very athletic plays by the infielders here tonight. Baez almost pulls off a dandy, falling back on that back foot. Might have had a little more time to get his legs under him here. That's a tough play with Granderson going down the line. Your sense is you got to be really quick.
Looked like Anthony kind of whiffed on it as he was trying to stretch. So Granderson with a hit. Here's Walker with one out and a man on. Hey, Neil hit a ground ball to second. By the way, while this game has not gone the Cubs' way, it has been a very aesthetically pleasing game to view in terms of the uniforms tonight. Always like the Mets home pinstripes, and big fan of the Cubs grays. Got all these alternate uniforms. This is the way baseball should look.
Home white, road gray.
Yeah.
Bonus points to Baez and Granderson.
Yeah.
John Jay.
Bruce Sutter, Dave Kingman days. Are you a fan of the new matte finish on the helmets that a lot of teams are now wearing?
I'm good with the matte finish.
There's an ex-Cub, Tom Goodwin. And that's first base coach.
Speed was his game.
Glenn Sherlock over at third. Here's a 2-0 from Dunsing, lifted in the air. Jay tracking.
Travel like a world champion with Cubs destinations. Packages include game tickets, hotel accommodations, ballpark tours, Cubs swag, and a private meet and greet with a current Cub player. This year's lineup includes trips to Baltimore, San Francisco, and iconic Wrigley Field. For more information, visit Cubs.com/destinations.
First plate appearance for Lagares, who entered in the 6th to play center. Dunsing curved low. Zobrist keeps his feet moving, still drifting. One might be pushing that ball a little bit more toward the wall. We go to the 8th, getting late. Cubs down 3. loan now at eclicklending.com. eClick is located right here in Chicagoland and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. That was weak. Boom! Your mortgage just happened. We don't have the sound effect on the road.
Well, the sound effect went with us earlier this year.
Because I'm the one who provided the sound effect. That was like a whisper. Not a boom.
It's a boom off in the distance.
I got you. One strike on John Jay. It has been Jacob DeGrom's night to this point. Nasty slider to get it to 0-2. Another one. Man, that was a good pitch.
Yeah, he's been very fastball heavy here tonight, but he's got a lot of weapons.
I think the double play balls clearly, but the lack of strikeouts has really helped him get into the 8th. He's got 5. And a guy who on many occasions has hit double digits in his career. Bryant takes outside on a slider. DeGrom with a career 2.17 Citi Field ERA. Loves pitching in this ballpark.
Coming into tonight, he had made 88 big league starts. He had compiled 586 strikeouts through those 88 games, second most for a Met starter in that period of time, trailing only Dwight Gooden. It was an event when Doc Gooden pitched at Shea Stadium back in the day. Well, he's had a different vibe.
Three and one.
Down 3 runs. KB taking all the way there.
The wind and the pitch. 3-2.
Change up. Wasn't in a good spot, but the off-speed nature got the job done. That's a better one there.
He's gone into the 9th this season one time. That was 3 starts ago in Pittsburgh. Trying to get through the 8th here. Bryant out in the shallow right. Jay Bruce will put the squeeze on it. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Rizzo, who has not yet been retired. Well, he has on double play balls, but he's gotten on base with a double and 2 walks.
Yeah, so with that in mind, you would think DeGrom would be aggressive here. First pitch, trying to get ahead, see if Anthony is able to ambush him, if indeed that is the strategy of DeGrom.
His 100th pitch.
Breaking ball, he missed, but got the call.
Pretty regularly over 100 pitches this season. Threw 118 in that start in Pittsburgh. something to me about the visual of a big slugger like Rizzo really choking up with 2 strikes, and clearly the pitcher notices. I dare you to try to get it by me. Not many guys have here lately. One and 2.
Working yet another great at bat.
He throws and it's low, and he's run it full.
Almost read DeGrom's mindset. Why didn't he swing at that? Everybody swings at that.
A bouncer to Walker. And DeGrom through 8 innings. Leads 4-1. Your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Bottom of the 8th, 4-1 Mets. And a strike on Jay Bruce. Dunsing in his 3rd inning of work. Oh, and 2. They're saying Cespedes left early with a sore left heel. Opposite field hit on 0-2. So Bruce has walked, hit a 2-run homer, doubled, and now singled. What a night.
Last year they were booing him. Now they're bruising him. Keeps the hands above the ball and lines it the other way.
John Lackey gave up 3 home runs tonight. Jacob DeGrom still working. Addison Russell has homered in back-to-back games. Popped up. Russell behind second.
We lived the magic of last year's historic run with the official 2016 championship season Fly the W book, which features essays by Tom Ricketts, Theo Epstein, and others, as well as never before seen photos. For more information, visit Cubs.com/flythewbook.
Another chance for Cabrera. He homered twice early. Popped out in the 6th off Dunsing. The homers were against John Lackey. And he bunts. Barehanded play, Bryant to get him. No sacrifice, which is the right call. He was bunting for a hit.
Played by Bryant, under control.
That'll be it for the lefty.
Good work.
Darno do. Two-out pitching change, 8th inning. We'll be right back.
At Bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day. Live game video highlights, radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
It's a Weber Sauces and Seasonings call to the pen. Call, grilling flavor up to the bigs. Here's Felix Pena.
Felix has been ping-ponging back and forth between Chicago and Iowa this year. Here with the Cubs, he's made 5 appearances. 9 2/3 innings. He's allowed 11 hits, 6 walks, while striking at 10. Dancing 2 2/3, 3 hits, no runs. He's responsible for that man out there at second. 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So he he will be down tomorrow. That's the thing with Montgomery now in the rotation. When you use Dunsing the way he was used here tonight, Joe's got no lefty tomorrow. But he does have righties that he likes on lefties, namely Grimm and Uehara.
Facing d'Arnaud with a man at second. And 2 down and a strike. .95 for strike 2. The 21st pick in the draft to the Orioles, kid named D.L. Hall. It's a cool name, DL. I'm sure no Twitter jokes will be made about that, as the Mets are going to add on. That's the second 0-2 hit of the inning. d'Arnaud drives in Bruce. That run will be charged to Dunsing, and it's 5-1.
Didn't sound like d'Arnaud hit that ball all that well, but obviously he did.
Sounded like he broke his back.
Yeah. Been working him away. It looked like he was looking out there. He just rides it into the alley in right center. Yeah,
Reyes went.
There's another kid in the draft. I think his name is Hanson.
So we are getting close to the Cubs picks, 27 and 30. We'll have more information on our broadcast tomorrow night. What is it? First 2 rounds tonight, 3 through 10, and then 11 through 40 the night after.
What the program is.
That's a base hit. d'Arnaud will score, and the Mets now lead 6-1.
Prior to this 8th inning for the Mets, all the runs had been on home runs. The Mets near the top of the league in terms of batting average with runners in scoring position. Obviously, that's an area that the Cubs have struggled all year long in.
DeGrom has 1 career complete game, minors or majors. It was last season, and he may get a chance to finish tonight. And he grounds to Rizzo, who will underhand to Russell. Mets score 2. We go to the 9th. It's 6-1 New York. home run. Unfortunately for the Cubs, they've only hit one tonight to the Mets 3. Addison Russell for the opposite way in the 7th inning. Cubs trail 6-1, and DeGrom will start the 9th. There is some action in their bullpen just in case. And it will be Ben Zobrist to lead it off. He has only worked one 1-2-3 inning, but in 4 consecutive innings was able to get 4 6-3 double play balls, including twice against Zobrist. Broken bat bouncer handled by Cabrera. Miguel Montero now in the pitcher's spot. He homered yesterday. So a hot night, but you can't really say DeGrom has had to grind through too many sequences.
Now Rizzo made him work awfully hard. He's been really good from the outset. 97 miles per hour at times, pretty comfortably sitting right around 95 with real good action on that elevated fastball. And the tempo, you know, a hot night like tonight, even though he's been efficient, you know, you're kind of gassed a little bit at this stage of the operation, and he's still working very quickly. Very much the predator. This is my game.
DeGrom off the mound, 2 away.
It's 17 outs on the ground tonight, counting the double plays.
He's just doing the same. Contreras with 2 outs. 9th inning as they stand here at Citi Field. 33,268. Cubs staring at what would be their 9th consecutive road loss and their 7th in a row here at Citi Field, including the NLCS 2 years ago. Down to their final strike.
Broke out with 7 yesterday on 12 hits. A total of 5 runs in the 3 games prior. Twice held to 1, and that's where they're at tonight.
And DeGrom finishes it. And the Mets have won 4 in a row. They've only allowed 4 runs total over this win streak. DeGrom's 2nd career complete game. And the Mets take the opener.
Not a big strikeout game, but a powerful performance by DeGrom after 2 real ugly ones. Well, he stepped up in a big way here tonight, and so rarely see a complete game for a starting pitcher. A big thrill for him to be out there on that mound for the 27th out.
The toast of the game, presented by Binny's Beverage Depot, goes to Jacob DeGrom.
Yeah, he got some support with the long ball from his mates and the double play balls in the middle of the diamond. 9 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. He punched out 6. A tidy performance.
Benny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. So for JD and our entire CSN crew here at Citi Field, Len Casper with your final score. The Mets 6, the Cubs 1. We're back with you on Wednesday here on CSN. 6 o'clock once again as the Cubs and the Mets wrap up the series. More to come from our Chicago studios next. Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live. Stay tuned.